Howdy, howdy, and meowdy, my catfish. Happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Sunday, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it may be. I'm having a pretty chill Sunday myself. Eduardo, why are you being stupid? Okay, nope, there we go. Yeah, I'm having a nice chill Sunday here. It's cozy, it's not gotten cold again, which is nice. Howdy, howdy, Vedant. Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. On today's schedule, we are, as we do every Sunday, playing more Final Fantasy XIV. And we are finally on Post-Stormblood, which means we are ever so close to Shadowbringers, and I am excited for that. I love Shadowbringers, it's so good. Easily the best story in the game. So we're doing 13 quests of Post-Stormblood today. Next week we'll do the other 13, and that'll leave us I believe 16 pre-Shadowbringers quests. And then we will finally be on Shadowbringers. It's going to be so good. So let us get right on into the Final Fantasying. Ooh, I get an emote, let's go. Starting off strong. Oh, right, I need to... There we go.
How are we getting on? We've made good progress since we took back Alamigo, but there's one big issue we still have to address. Leadership. The Domans had Lord Hien ready and willing to take the throne, but we've got no one like that here. Theodoric was our last ruler, and he wasn't called the Mad King.
And a voice cutscene as well. We're starting off real strong.
Suffice it to say, our people have had their fill of kings, which means we need to find a new way forward.
If only it were that easy. Everyone and his uncle has an opinion. For the time being, we're just going to have to keep leaning on General Aldin and the Alliance for support, and see if we can't find a solution together. Something tells me we're going to be hosting a lot of meetings in the near future. But if that's what it takes, I'm ready to talk till my jaw aches. The Reach is yours, Nago. Don't do anything I wouldn't.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Ah, there you are.
Arnvald, my boy.
Don't worry, it's nothing bad. That said, this might not be the best place to talk. Will you join me? I'll get to the point. Might you be interested in a spot of adventure? After all, we were adventurous before we were scions.
Ooh, I love me some adventure.
After routing Helping the Imperials and liberating Alamigo, I reckon we've earned a bit of respite, don't you? And what better way to spend it than by returning to our roots? So, what say you? Shall we call on Alphino and go adventuring?
Hell yeah. I am down for another adventure. Yeah, we toppled two imperial governments and gained two countries their freedom. You deserve a nice little cozy adventure. Something less, dangerous. Right then, let's go and find Master Levier. Actually, leave that to me. I want you fresh for a little adventure. Wait for us by the Aetheryte and we'll be along shortly. See you there. Okay. Get on my moon doggy. Or... Okay, OBS, why did you just change? Alright, this freaking timer is still ticking down, that's cringe. Did not say to change OBS. But we're back, we're fine. So I know what the quest Wedge has would start us on the Omega raids, but we're saving the raids until we do all the MSQ, so we can do all the raids in a row. It's gonna be fun. Omega's a ton of fun. Greetings, Panifer. 'Twould seem we are to accompany Arnwald on some manner of escapade. Have you any idea what we've gotten ourselves into? Allow me to explain. It'll be something of a history lesson, but I'll try to be brief. No snoring, if you please. Now, the events I would speak of occurred before the occupation, back when Alamigo was still a monarchy and Theodoric sat the throne. A uniquely brutal despot by all accounts. That he was. The King of Ruins suffered no rivals, real or imagined, and his dispute with the monks of the Fist ended with Rauger's Reach being burned to the ground. In the latter years of his rule, he was seized by the unshakable belief that unseen forces were conspiring to steal his crown. And so he ordered that every soul with a claim to the throne be executed, including his own family. The wealth of the poor sods he put to death became the property of the king, and it said that these royal treasures were hoarded somewhere in the palace. Thus was born the legend of the Mad King's Trove. Ah, I believe I see the direction our adventure is to take. I assume you have a mind to unearth its hidden bounty? You assume correctly. And would I also be correct in assuming that this legend is widely known? Others must surely have gone in search of your prize, tempting as it seems. Well, of course we won't be the first to make the attempt. Following Alamigo's liberation, more than a few eager soldiers turned the palace upside down in hopes of claiming an easy fortune. But even after scouring every room from dawn till dusk, they uncovered not a single coin. Their gold lust drained away as quickly as it had come, and the legend, Mad King's Trove, remains simply that, a legend. Thank you for the follow, Robin Rowe. Welcome. Or Robrino. Welcome, welcome. But I see you have no intention of letting the story end there. What self-respecting adventurer would? Imagine, the three of us delving into a decades-old mystery. Tell me the thought doesn't set your heart racing. I'm down to hunt for some treasure. After everything we did in Stormblood, that sounds fun. Oh, so emotes, let's go. Now I can box, now I can fight. Ooh, accessories. Item level 370. Okay, yeah, I definitely do need the accessories. I didn't bother to go pick up my poetics accessories yet. So I figure just creative accessories is better. Well, not better, but it's good. It's still really good. The news of Doma and Alamigo's liberation has kindled the flames of revolution in every corner of the Empire. I hear the Imperial province of Dalmasca has already risen up in rebellion. Which means the Garleans must surely have their hands full. What better time than now to indulge in such a diversion? Tell us, Arnvald, have we any clues as to where we might begin our search? Well, judging by how the other treasure hunters fared, nosing about the palace isn't like to get us anywhere, so we'll probably need to, ask around. Would that be another way of saying no? Well, yes. I see. In that case, I shall pay a visit to the Allied archivists and request access to the records seized from the Imperials. The Garleans are meticulous about such things. If they uncover the trove during their occupation, the event is certain to have been recorded. In the meantime, the two of you can track down those who worked as palace servants and officials in Theodoric's day. Given that they would have been at least 20 at the time, you will be looking for people who've seen 40 summers or more. Anything they can tell you about the king and his bloody deeds may prove useful, so be sure to listen well. Arnvald, pray try your luck in the fringes and the peaks, whilst Pennifer makes the rounds into the Alamigan quarter. Ha! And there I was thinking I was the party leader. Not that I mind, of course. Let's be about it, eh? We can meet afterwards at Gilbard's Gate. Sounds like a plan. I'll go yap at some people. In the palace? No, not me, lass. Surely you've heard stories of the Mad King. He used to hold public executions upon the divine audience. Anyone, and I mean anyone, suspected of conspiring against the crown was flung from the top of those steps. Suffice it to say, I stayed as far away from the palace as possible. You know, fair. I wouldn't want to be flung from high up steps. You want to hear an old maid's stories, do you? Well, most of what I know of the Mad King is common knowledge. We'd only see his royal majesty when he deigned to attend the executions he ordered, and after a while even watching his enemies die wasn't enough to coax him out of hiding. They say he started seeing assassins in every shadow and wouldn't set foot outside the palace walls. I was offered work there as a royal servant once, but the mere thought of it left me in a cold sweat. Also fair. Mhm. Grab that. It's either the last one in the zone, or we have one or two more. Okay, there's... Oh, three more. Okay, three, one, and then just the side quests. I served with the pleasure of King Theodoric and lived to tell the tale. One of the palace guards I was. Truth be told, it was a dark chapter in my life, and one I'd sooner forget. Hardly a night went by when we didn't hear blood-curdling screams echoing from the inner chambers, which of course we were under orders to ignore. So we'd stand still as statues, trying not to imagine what horrors were unfolding within. If you're hell's-bent on finding out what happened in the palace, head down the street here and ask old Arnold. He was the king's head scribe. Yes, I am Arnold. What do you want with me? You would have me dredge up some decidedly unsavory memories. Yet, if Alamigo is to move forward, we must needs acknowledge the misdeeds of the past. Very well, I shall tell you what I remember. I take it you know of Theodoric's paranoia and the public executions of his kinsmen. Those were terrible enough, but in his last days, the king's feared mind settled upon an even grislier method of disposal, which only a chosen few were unfortunate enough to witness. Oh. His Majesty ordered the court thaumaturge to unleash a vile curse upon the remaining members of the royal family, a magic which transformed them into fiends of hideous aspect. The resulting monstrosities were then cast into the darkness below the palace. Even now, my sleep is troubled by nightmares. If others of Theodoric's blood were prone to share his madness, then mayhap it is a kindness that the monarchy ended with him. That's kind of gruesome. Since we're all here, why don't we share what we've learned? Allow me to begin, then. As promised, I scoured the Imperial records for any mention of fantastic treasures and found precisely none. It is just possible, I suppose, that a corrupt official deliberately hid the fact of the trove's discovery, hoping to enrich himself, but I find it rather unlikely that so valuable a find would stay secret for long. I conclude that our prize either does not exist, or that the Imperials somehow overlooked it. What of you, Pennifer? Were your investigations any more fruitful? Turned into monsters? And what could he mean by this darkness beneath the palace, I wonder? I met an old man in Allegheny who spoke of the palace's subterranean prison, but he said not of cursed abominations. The Imperial archives were also silent on the subject of fiends inside the palace grounds. Could the scribe fellow have been spinning her a yarn, do you think? Did you believe him, Pennifer? Yeah, I believe him. If he was afraid, that does lend a credence to the tale, though I'm not sure how that helps us in our search. Do not be so hasty. Ronald's anecdote may very well have told us where the trove is hidden, but ere I share my theory, there is a matter I would clarify. Arnvold, you spoke of light-hearted adventure, but I sense a deeper motive for this expedition. Why are you so intent on finding this treasure? It wasn't all pretense, I swear, but you're right. My father was in the Imperial Army, a man of Garlean blood. I trust you know what I mean when I say that my Alamegan mother did not welcome my arrival. As I grew, she would check my brow over and over, convinced that a spot on my skin was an emerging third eye, like the kind you see in pure-blood Garleans. My mother did not care for this taunting reminder of my heritage and took up a knife. War paint serves to cover the scar. That's... ouch. In the end, she turned me out into the street, and I was left to haunt the alleyways of Alamigo, a feral child who got what he needed through begging, cunning, or worse. The best I could say as the years had followed is that I survived, but I hated the animal I'd become. Eventually, I left the city behind me and joined a group of refugees bound for the other side of the wall. It was then that I turned to adventuring, and that road led me into the company of the Scions. I tell you this so that you understand. I know all too well what poverty and hunger can do to a person. I drew steel and ordinary folk for a measly crust of bread. With Theodoric's gold, I could spare my countrymen the shame of living like that. That's a respectable goal. Thank you, Arnvold, and I apologize. That cannot have been pleasant to recall, but I felt it best to be clear in our intentions. Well, Pannifer, are you content to surrender the treasure to Arnvold's noble cause and claim the thrill of adventure as your reward? Yeah? I don't need treasure, I'm an adventurer. Then I should be glad to tell you my theory on the resting place of the Mad King's Trove, if you are minded to hear it. Vending accessories, let's go. Oh, it's only one ring, so I'm gonna still need to go buy another ring, but that's fine. That. Okay, we're up to 332. I absolutely need better regular gear. Yeah, that's level 66, that's level 68. Oh, 69, nice. Actually, mayhap it would be better if we first adjourn to a more suitable location. In case a rival treasure hunter overhears our plans, you mean? Good thinking. That was not exactly the reason, but 'tis certainly a valid concern. Let's reconvene on the southern edge of Luxeld. How many poetics do I have? I'm capped out. Okay, I can actually go buy a bunch of good gear. I'm gonna go to Rower's Reach to visit the gear vendor. Most of my accessories are good. My weapon is very good. I just need a ring and a full set of regular gear. And then I will be cooking. Okay, part of wars. Let's see, that one, this would cost as much as the other stuff, so Better to buy the item level 4 hundo gear. Bending helm. Bending gauntlets. Bending boots. That's 69, so that'll be fine for now. I'll buy the chest, then I'll buy the ring. And then I can come back once I have more poetics to buy the pants. Yeah, I got enough for a single ring. That's all I need. Okay, ring goes here. Boots. Gloves. Chest. Helm. Yeah, this is honestly a really nice looking set of gear. Especially the weapon. The fancy Magitech weapons are really nice looking. In fact, I'm gonna go speak. Yeah, token exchange, you're the one who sells the weapons. I'm gonna see what... I thought it was you who sold the weapons. Oh no, you sell weapons. They changed it. Okay, great sword, try on. Show gear. Like, the scythe is easily my favorite. Because it's just a chainsaw scythe. It is so good. Also, I just realized that I can pick up Reaper. I'm level 70. I can go pick up Reaper. I can do the Reaper quests. So we're gonna do our 13 MSQ for Post-Stormblood, and then we're gonna pick up Reaper, and that'll be our stream. I forgot I could do Reaper. That's what I wanted to do. We're gonna pick up Reaper and learn Reaper, and it's gonna be great. Gonna have a good time reaping the day away. At first, Glamour. Let us run around in our pajamas for a while. I completely forgot that I could pick up Reaper at 70. Meaning I'll have a DPS I can level alongside tank. Okay, Mender, I need to repair some of my stuff. Reaper is such a fun DPS job. Oop, I passed Mender. Of all the melee DPS, Reaper is my favorite. It is so much fun. You get a cool scythe, you get scoopy black edgy particles, you get a angsty spear to help you fight. It's just so cool. And you can even summon a little portal to help you teleport to and from places. And Walker absolutely killed it with the 2 jobs they added, because Sage is also a fun healer. But yeah, being at 380 item level, that'll probably go up a little bit once I replace that. So there is a Moogle Treasure Trove event going on, so I'm gonna find the logs for that and see if the dungeon we're coming up on is part of it. I hope it is. That would mean we get some goodies out of it. Beauty. I know I've done Moogle Treasure Trove stuff before. I just don't remember which of these has the log on it. Actually, no, it's collections, I think. So yeah, collection. Log Pendium, yeah. Here it is. Okay, so it would be these 4 ARR dungeons. These... Man, this couldn't have been there when I did this last week. Okay, these 2 dungeons... That trial... PvP... One of these might be a dungeon that I'm about to unlock, hopefully. Then there's a bunch of trials and raids. Well, I can't do that, that's level 90. That's Fates in... God, the ultimate challenge is Heaven on High, that's cringe. I mean, I'll still do that. Heaven on High is fun. I love me a good deep dungeon. So I'll unlock that off stream and do that. Forgive me, it was not my intention to draw out proceedings. I simply wished to have the lock in sight while I explained things. Prior to the Great Flood of the Sixth Umbral Calamity, the Salt Lake you see before you were yet dry ravines, and this, believe it or not, was the site of the ancient city of Scala, which rose and fell during the Fifth Astral Era. From what we know of the period, the city was already deserted by the time the waters began to rise, having been all but destroyed by war. Yet its ruins remain to this day at the bottom of Loch Seld. It is my belief that the darkness beneath the palace mentioned by Theodoric's former scribe was not a reference to the prison, but to a place still further below, the ruins of Scala. I further surmise that the Mad King's unfortunate kinsmen were cast down there, not simply out of a desire to punish them, but to discourage exploration. Theodoric wanted to keep the ruins secure. Wait, you're saying they were meant to guard the Mad King's trove? Precisely. And since we know the court thaumaturge was involved, we can safely assume that any entrance into the old city will have been magically concealed. Which would explain how a legion of Imperial soldiers and the gods know how many Alamegans never found a trace of the trove. We, however, have certain advantages which they did not enjoy. Panaver, would you be so good as to swim down to the bottom of the loch and search for an underwater route into the ruins? While you do that, Arnvold and I will seek out an ensorcelled portal within the palace. Oh, better me than you. I can actually breathe underwater. Come on, Moodang, we're going for a swim. Loo-skidoo, you can too. Oh, right, I should mount up because mount swimming is faster. I still will always love that you just get permanent water breathing as a part of the story. And that they went ahead and added water, like underwater zones to all the old expansions. Secret tunnel in the water under the sea. Pennifer, it's Alphino. We have searched the prison beneath the palace and found a teleportation portal concealed by enchantments. The markings indicate it leads to an underground cavern. What news on your end? And you believe it leads into the ruins? Then I dare say we will be able to meet within. Go on and head through the door. By the way, I took the liberty of calling on a friend for help. I guarantee she's both dependable and discreet. We'll see you soon. Drowned City of Scala, now accessible. Let's go. First dungeon of the stream. Oh, howdy, Timeline Man. Welcome in, Raiders. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. And instant Q pop, you love to see it. Whoosh. Ooh, heck yeah. Fantasy Star's pretty pog. Lizard, 2 cats, and a human. Okay, we're going for big poles. See if the healer can keep up. And popped Invuln. I love to pop the Invuln. Invuln fun. Yeah, we're cooking. Might do smaller pulls because healer might be struggling a little, but we're still cooking. Whoosh. I've been meaning to check out Phantasy Star Online. I've heard very good things about it. And the other Phantasy Star games too. It's definitely been a while since I actually played one. But I know they're all really good games. onwards to our first boss. Water pony. I think it's Kelpie. Big spooky Kelpie. Wabam. And you didn't pop my shield. And try and push this nerd. Yep, that'll help everyone. Pull. Oh good, you popped my bubble in time, let's go. Dark Knight has the single best mitigation in the game. Called the Blackest Night. Creates a barrier around you or a targeted party member for 25% HP. And if the barrier gets popped, you get Dark Arts, which gives you a free use of your Flood of Darkness or Edge of Darkness, which increases your damage buff by 30 seconds. So it's literally free protection and then free use of your damage buff. Plain pound? If you're gonna pound me, don't make it plain. Vanilla's nice. Yeah, vanilla's nice, but I like a little bit of flavor. I think I have a shout out command. I could give you a shout out real quick. Really need to remember to do that. Grab you. Grab you. Quit being big dumb rock nerds. Back. Pop that. Give me the smack me, smack me, smack me. Dang it. Oh, that was a waste of my invuln. No, 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 bad rocks. Bad, 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 dumb rocks. You will come and you will smack me. Yeah, I love the Blackest Night. I could just sit here in one of the AoE markers and tank the hit, and it's not going to do much damage to me because I've got a quarter health bubble. It is literally the best mitigation. Yeah, don't you turn me into a Spriggan. I like being a lizard. Cringe! Is that all of them? Okay, good, that is all of them. Zongbato and some homunculi. And they turned this into a bridge. I remember when this used to be, you'd step on the thing and it makes you float and you'd float across. Ah, yeah, big boy. Time to clap his cheeks. Summon her down. Boss down, let's go.
Twould appear this place is yet inhabited by King Theodoric's kin, or what is left of them. The work of terrible magics, I fear.
Okay, now I can afford myself a little stretch break. Oop. there. Much needed, much deserved. Such a good stretch break.
Terrible, aye. But their misfortune is our fortune?
Quite. By the 12, there is even more than I imagined.
Oh, I can't wait to see the look on Lisa's face. Thanks for believing in me, you two.
Arnold and I tried to do our fair share, but I fear you ended up bearing the bulk of the burden as usual. You truly led the way with your adventuring prowess, my friend. Without your help, I reckon we'd still be fumbling about in the dark. Glad I called on you. I must say, I am still reeling at the sight of that mountain of riches. What, like how you reel at the sight of that floating specter, you mean? I wish you could have seen the look on your own face, Alphino. But must we dwell in such momentary lapses? We found the Mad King's trove, and that is all that matters. All jesting aside, we must tell people the good news, and I think Lee should be the first. Seconded. She is bound to be delighted. If I am no longer needed, then I shall take my leave. Of course. Don't let us keep you. Thanks again, and say hello to Vemma for me. Now then, there is to be a meeting of representatives from Alamigos. Lisa's sure to be in the city. Shall we seek her out? Another quick BRB. Okay, and we are back again. I really do need to work on unlocking flying everywhere. That is at least quick and easy, or not quick, but easy enough to do. Because I'm only missing 3 Aether Currents from here and 1 from there, then it's just all the quests. Oh? You three look pleased with yourselves. What have you been up to? I'm glad you asked, Lisa, and I'm pretty sure you're going to like the answer. You're joking. The Mad King's trove? I thought it was a myth. So did plenty of people, but they didn't have Pennifer and Alphino in their party. The credit for finding it should really go to them. As for what to do with it all, I vote that it goes towards alleviating the suffering of Alamigo's poor. Gods, if there's as much as you say... Our involved did not exaggerate, I assure you. We could not hope to carry even a fraction of it out on our own. I've taken the liberty of sketching out a rough map of the ruins. If you will assemble a squad of your most trusted freedom fighters, they should be able to follow the route to where the treasure lies. Understood. I'll make sure every coin is accounted for, and that goes for the spending of it as well. Thank you. Oh, there is one other thing. When the time comes to draw up a plan for distributing the spoils, I would ask that you consult Alphino. I don't have a head for details, I'm not educated. I see that simply handing out sacks of gold won't solve everything, but I couldn't rightly tell you what to do instead. Oh, I know the feeling. I'd welcome any advice you could give us, Alphino. Of course, I shall be at your disposal. Commander, we got a problem. Deep breaths. Tell me what's happened. A mob's gathered outside headquarters and they've started making demands. You'd best come and see for yourself. Oh boy. Ooh boy.
Step back, all of you!
Like hells we will! We know who you've got in there!
We're not leaving till you hand her over!
Bring her out! Bring her out!
What's going on? Someone let slip about Fordola.
It's true then! The bitch really is in there! I knew it! I bloody knew it! We demand vengeance! Bring her out! Today we butcher the butcher!
Come on, you don't mean that! We'd be no better than the Imperials if you'd all just calm down!
Calm down! That monster and her thrice damned skulls dragged my man from our home and beat him to death in the street!
Aye, and my dad! That bitch has spilt enough blood to fill a lock!
We all know her crimes. She's a traitor and a murderer. How many of your resistance friends have died at her hands, eh? And here you are, protecting her!
So that's what all the fuss is about. Hearken to me, brothers and sisters of Alamigo.
Hey, who's this?
Who do you think it is?
That's the Bull of Alamigo.
My friends, you are not alone in your anger, your grief, your despair, for it is mine as well. That gnawing pain in your breast, it is enough to bring an old bull to his knees. But I ask you, brothers and sisters, to think not only of the family and friends who were cut down before your very eyes, but to think also of the ones who were abducted, the ones who may yet live. Where were they taken? What became of them? These questions demand answers. I share your thirst for justice, for vengeance, but we will gain only fleeting satisfaction if we give in to our base appetites. We will never know the truth. Now is the time that we, the people of Alamigo, must decide what manner of nation we will build for ourselves and for generations yet unborn. When they look to our example, will they see a people who held fast to their principles, or one who cast them aside when tried? I say to you, it is our responsibility to give these prisoners a fair trial, that they might answer to all of Alamigo. The Garleans called us savages, And I'll be damned if we prove them right.
I know you're right, I do. But I can't.
My thanks, Raoban. Listening to their anger, I could feel myself being swept away. Tis a difficult tide to stem. 'Twas that same rage which brought us to our feet and carried us to victory, but now the war is over, all the unspent fury is being channeled into vengeance. Aye, and it's not just here. We've reports of mobs forming all over. They've been targeting folk known to have cooperated with the Guardians. It starts with insults most often, then someone picks up a stone. Some industrious souls even thought to seek out the graves of Xenos and his officers. It was grim. I want to build a country where everyone, regardless of race or origin, can live side by side in peace. Maybe the time isn't right. Maybe people just aren't ready. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to try. The representatives will be here soon, and I'll be danged if I'm going to give up before I've even begun. Who are these representatives exactly? Oh, village elders, refugee leaders, and the like. It wouldn't be right for us to dictate the nation's future on our own, so we've planned a summit of sorts. We've even invited the Ananta and Kikiran to participate. Alamigo stands at a crossroads, and this meeting will decide which path it takes. The matter of Fordola's sentence cannot be suffered to disrupt proceedings. Then let's execute and be done with it. She herself asked to be put to death. Nago, I already explained why we wouldn't do that. Sending her to the gallows might satisfy people right now, but where would it end? Should we round up everyone who collaborated, and everyone who didn't resist? There would be no one left, and we'd be no better than the Theodoric and the Xenos. Begging your pardon, but might I be allowed to speak with Fordola? Only, I caught a glimpse of her past, a moment of it anyway during the fight. She's done terrible things, unforgivable things, but in some ways, she's a victim of the circumstances in which she was born, and that's something I can understand. Alright, speak with the prison guard when you're ready, and I'll come and join you. I want to talk to her too. I'll return to my other duties then. We've barely begun to investigate the facility where they gave Fordola her powers. Be fairly warned, friends, she will test you. Don't let your emotions color your judgment when she does.
So many visitors. Come to have a good laugh, have you? Or do you mean to put me out of my misery? To finish what you started? It's about bloody time.
That's not why we're here, no. Do you remember what I said? How I promised you you'd live long enough to see us win our freedom? Well, I meant it. And not to mock you either.
You're wasting your time. All of this is pointless! There's no reason to keep me alive, and you know it! I killed your men. I killed my men. And you know what my only regret is? That I didn't kill you when I had the chance!
That's a lie, and you know it! You think we can't tell what you're trying to do? That we're blind? Yeah, you're a fool, but you're not stupid. You're ruthless. Relentless. You'd give up anything and everything to get what you want. You didn't come this far, climbing over the bodies of your own brothers and sisters just to piss it all away. I see you, Fordola. I see you for what you are.
Come along, Fordola. We mustn't be late.
Did not mean to skip through that.
All right!
Father, what's Lord Gaius like? Is he nice? Are you friends?
There you go again with all your questions. Lord Gaius is a great and honourable man who looks after all of Alamigo. He's very busy, and if we don't hurry, we'll miss our chance to see him.
Filthy tin-head lovers.
Father, what did that man call us?
The little tin-head lover doesn't know what she is, eh? A traitor, sweetheart. A backstabbing bitch who'd gladly betray her kith and kin to gnaw on what few scraps the Imperials deign to toss her. Like your bastard father and whore mother.
That's not true! My parents are good people! They've never done anything like that!
Oh, but they were quick to help themselves and their bitch spawn, weren't they? You're just as guilty as them.
Fordola!
Traitors!
Please, you have to do something. My husband and daughter are in danger.
Soldiers of the Imperial Army are under no obligation to intervene in the disputes of arm.
We're citizens. We have rights.
Ah!
Father, I'm scared.
It's all right. It's all right. They don't understand, but they'll see in time. They'll see that this is the only way to survive.
Traitors! Traitors!
Let the savages have their fun. They'll be more compliant once they've tired themselves out.
Fordola, please! You already have citizenship. Why would you want to become a soldier? Oh, gods! What have you done to your face?
Forgotten it already, have you? I'm honouring Father's memory.
By telling the world that you know better than a common savage.
Am I though, Mother? Are any of us? Can't you see? Citizenship means nothing to them. If you're not a pure-blood Garlean, you're no different from any other savage. So I'll play the part. I'll join the Legion and I'll make them respect me. And when the mob see that, they'll think twice before throwing their stones. Ansfrid, Rudolph, Emlyn. It's time. It'll be hard. Humiliating. They'll try to break us. Send us crawling back to our own kind. But we won't, no matter what. We'll bleed for them, die for them if we have to. We'll do whatever it takes to be free!
So, you mean to play the part one last time, eh? The unrepentant traitor whose death will serve to unite the people?
Shut up.
You had every chance to kill yourself. Fashion a noose from your clothes. Wait for the guards to leave you alone long enough to slip it over your neck.
I said shut up!
Oh, but then it would have all been for nothing, wouldn't it? Whatever it takes. That's what you said.
Been in my head, have you? Had a little peek at my past? And what? A few stolen memories tell you everything you need to know, do they? Don't you dare patronize me! You don't know a god's damned thing about the life I've led! The bastards that killed him. The bastards that let it happen. My father deserved better! I swore I'd do whatever it took to make them pay!
Oh, look, now you're in my head.
much. Too much for anyone. The things they've done to you. The lies. The betrayal. The endless fighting. Yet there you stand. Unbroken. How? Why? Damn you. Damn you all.
You still have time, Fordola. Think about how you want to spend it. Let's go.
I think that's 4 of 13, maybe? I forget how many quests we've done, but we're making good progress. I don't know that we've solved anything exactly, but we've given Fordola something to think about at least. And I found something new to think about too. I don't know about you, Pannifer, but the visions only come to me every now and then. From the way Fordola kept wincing though, I get the feeling she's having them almost all the time. That's a lot of bad memories to deal with. I wonder, could there be some fundamental difference between one who was born with the Echo and one who has been artificially imbued with it? Well, the Immortal Flames have been scouring that research facility ever since the Liberation. There's a chance they might have some answers for us. General Alden's there overseeing the investigation. Let us go pay him a visit, shall we? What news? You spoke with Fordola, I take it? Yes. As expected, she didn't say very much, but it was a total waste of time. Arnvald noticed something odd about her. He thinks she might be having visions almost constantly, which is not how the Echo normally works. Have you found anything here which might explain why it's so different for her? We've been hard-pressed as to organize the research materials, let alone study them. To be frank, I'd welcome the science expert assistance if you have time to lend a hand. The device in which Kryl is held seems even more ominous. Now you know its purpose. The surrounding parts mark supply subject, while this one bears the label master subject. The Ironworks received a request from the Alliance to analyze these devices, and I've been recording everything of interest. Did you notice the labeling? All the pods are designed to drain the aether of the occupant, save that one right there. Unlike all the others, the interior has been fitted with an array of sensors to measure etheric waveforms. To what purpose, however, I couldn't tell you. Fascinating. Idle conversation prohibited, eating and drinking prohibited. The following scrap of parchment appears to list facility regulations but nothing of any interest. Oh, that's a lot of corpses. Those are corpses, and yeah, those are corpses. That's Jesus. So many bodies, every one of them a victim of these experiments. Few show any signs of external injury. From what we've been able to determine, they perish from forcible aether extraction. Such a miserable way to die. I know a little less of science, so any light you can shed on this facility's operations would be much appreciated. Pannifer, shall we start with you? Taken in combination with the testimonies of Kryl and Thancred, I do begin to see exactly what the Imperials are attempting here. The enhancement procedure entailed infusing a single candidate with aether siphoned from a multitude of supply subjects. As for the master subject, in this case Kryl, patterns of her etheric activity would provide the model upon which they would artificially engineer the candidate's aura. In other words, they were trying to recreate Kryl's echo? I believe so. We should explain our prisoner's present state. Kryl is possessed of an unrivaled ability to hear the whispers of the soul, and it seems probable that the procedure engendered the same acute sensitivity in Fordola. Soldiers who guard Fordola, many of them lost friends and family to the skulls, and it's a sentry at her door night and day. She can't help sensing their thoughts and seeing their past. But you don't just see their past, you live it. All the emotions, all the pain. Imagine what it'd do to you. You'd never be the same again. Indeed. As you may recall, Ysael was completely transformed by a single glimpse of Hreisvalger's past. Fordola has been forced to experience the agony of those whose lives she destroyed. The guilt must be unbearable. That explains her request to be executed. Sounds to me like a kind of justice. Regardless, she can suffer on for now. We have more pressing matters to consider. If the results of these experiments have been relayed back to Garlemald, there will be naught to stop the Empire from repeating the trick. They could give the echo to anyone, to an entire legion. Tactical nuke incoming. Oh, whoa. Howdy, howdy, Justabilly. Welcome in. Welcome in. Hope you're having a good day. We must be ready. We must learn all we can of these gods-forsaken procedures, and Fordola remains our best source of information. She'll not be getting her wish. Not yet. Right. Keep faith, lass. Be sure to convince others to follow you. You must believe what you're telling them. People will respond to passion, but not if it's feigned. I understand. Thank you, General. We should leave the flames to it. Let's go. go looking for answers about the Echo, and end up getting schooled by Raubon. Yet more evidence that I don't know what I'm doing. It's no wonder people listen to him and not me. General Aldine is a veteran of countless campaigns, Lise. You cannot compare yourself to a commander of his experience. I know, but I also know that I couldn't have convinced that mob to give up and go home. It makes me realize how much we rely on his authority and how much I still have to learn. I wonder what he'll do when everything here is settled. I mean, it's his homeland. After going to the trouble of winning it back, might he not want to stay? There's a quandary which countless refugees now face, to continue the life they built in Ul'dah or start again in the land of their birth. Pennifer, a moment. Yo, Pippin. I am newly returned from Ul'dah with a message from the Sultana. Her Grace desires an audience with you. She understands that you have responsibilities here, but asks that you visit the palace at your earliest convenience. Well, I must away and attend to other business. Until next time, my friends. I'll visit the Sultana. Haven't seen her in a while. The audience with the Sultana. Depending on the nature of her consultation, this might be the perfect opportunity to inquire about the General's future plans. Yes, we'd all like to know about those, Alphino. Not everyone's as comfortable interrogating royalty as you. Take no notice of him, Pennifer. Well, the question of how to put the Mad King's treasures to good use shows no signs of answering itself. Shall we be about it, Arnvald? I am at your beck and call. And I should be getting back to my own task. I'll organize a squad to head down into the ruins and then start preparing for the big meeting. Oh, send Nanimo my regards, Pennifer. And ours too, if you please. We shall see you on your return. First, let's reassign to update this. And now we can go to Ul'dah. I haven't been back here in quite a bit. I don't think since the... not in Stormblood at least. Not had a reason to go back to Ul'dah. Before we talk to the Sultana, let us do a little bit of shopping. At least if the prices aren't expensive for the thing I desire. Okie market board, Dark Knight's Arms. Okay, that is still expensive. It's always expensive. That's less. It's affordable, but I don't like it as much as the Tsukuyomi one. So I might have to later on go visit some other worlds, other servers, and check their prices. The server prices are always different, server to server. Sure, I could find a nice Tsukuyomi sword that's of a good price. That's the wrong way. And I also should look into Reaper weapons, since we will be picking up Reaper before the end of stream. I shall indeed proceed.
I thank you for answering my summons in these most interesting times. You have been busy. The liberation of Alamigo will have far-reaching consequences, and there is a matter upon which I would seek your counsel. I speak of Rauban and his future. All know the tale of his rise from penniless refugee to member of the Syndicate and General of the Immortal Flames. Yet though he has come to call Uldar home, it will never be his homeland. He is a son of Alamigo. And now that she is free, I thought it only a matter of time before he sought my leave to return to her. Indeed, I had resigned myself to his loss. Suffice it to say, I was greatly surprised to hear him speak so lightly of handing over the reins in Alamigo and retaking his place at my side. I will welcome him with open arms, of course. He is my most trusted advisor and my dearest friend. But I have known the man a long time, and beneath that steely gaze, I spied a flicker of doubt. Whether Rauban chooses to remain in Uldar or return to Alamigo, I only wish that he do so with a heart unburdened by guilt or regret. Yet how can he freely make such a choice, knowing how much I depend on him? It is past time that I learned to discharge my duties as a sultana alone. I must go forth and see my realm with my own eyes, and hear the wind with my own ears. Might I have your company for a brief adventure?
Absolutely, I'm down to go on an adventure. Especially with you.
Wonderful.
Adventures with you are always fun.
A moment to change into something a touch less conspicuous, and I will join you outside.
Okay, so we're gonna slip back to the shops and look at Reaper weapons real quick, and then we will go to the quicksands. As opposed to the waking sands, which I will never return to if I can help it. Reaper. Nope, I meant to do that, set that to 70. So there's the Space Pulp Ultimate. Dragon Tongue Reprise, which that's a pretty good looking one. And then just this one, that's just basic, but still honestly insanely good looking for just being a crafted one. And then we get to 80, and nothing really fancy aside from the just crafted ones. I think 90 has a better selection of Reaper weapons. There are quite a few. Like, I think this is the best end game Endwalker crafted one. Because I remember these three being the... This was for the first raid tier, the second and third raid tier, so that's just best end game that one now that Dawn Trail's out. Yeah, because now that Dawntrail's out, all of the old raid gear from Endwalker is now Poetics gear, so I could go buy some pretty looking. Wait, the heck? That's new. That's new. That's is new. I can see a quest NPC from another zone in the city if they're a relevant quest NPC I need to talk to. When did they add that? That's new. That's never been there before, being able to see a quest NPC while you're not in the same zone as them. That is absolutely new. Oh, that's really freaking cool. Freaking neat. I like that. What do you think of Lilira, the merchant's daughter? This is the disguise I don when I wish to leave the palace and observe my subjects unnoticed. Ordinarily, Papa-chan would accompany me, but for this particular outing I need an advisor, not a minder. And that is why I requested your company. Over the course of your many adventures, you have met people from all walks of life in every corner of Eorzea, and I would make use of your worldly experience. Now let us be on our way. Our first destination is Stone's Throw, just beyond the Gate of Nald. And that gate is this gate. Loose-doo, you can too. Look upon this procession of tattered tents. These refugees camp in squalor, at the mercy of the elements and Thanalan's predators both. The city's mighty walls offer safety, but the streets overflow with people as it is, and unless blessed by the hand of Nald himself, no refugee could ever hope to afford a dwelling in Ul'dah. 20 years have passed since the fall of Ala Mhigo, and 5 since the calamity, yet the plight of the poor has grown more desperate, not less. As Sultana, the blame falls upon me. Then my best has not been good enough. Shall we press on? I will follow the road to the unholy air. I need to remember that I can actually fly in Realm Reborn zones. I was getting ready to start jumping idly. No, I can fly. Which just reminds me I need to actually continue unlocking flying in other zones. Like the rest of Heavensward, like... I have it in every zone except the Sea of Clouds and the Hinterlands, and I just need to do the quests there. And I just need to do it for every Stormblood zone. And I will be sure to do that this week off stream, just cause it'll make doing the rest of Post-Stormblood and pre-Shadowbringers easier. It was here, in this holy, unremarkable place, that my mother and father met their doom. I was but a child at the time, my parents returning from an inspection of our interest in Eastern Thanalan on an untimely rockside Cresser carriage. To this day, it is not certain if the incident was simple misfortune or an expertly planned assassination. Rawan once offered to reopen the investigation and bring me the truth he assumed I must surely crave, but I refused. Even if my parents' deaths were orchestrated by the Monetarists, we could only have brought their hirelings to justice. The true villains, those who plotted to put me on the throne as a biddable puppet, were ever beyond our reach. Thus did I plan to strip the merchants of their powers and place our nation in the hands of the citizens, quite unaware of the consequences my actions would have for you in years. I shudder to think how many goodly souls paid the price of my naivety. But I am no longer a child reciting words with witless obedience, and I will not be used as a pawn in the monetarist's damnable games. Forgive me my outburst. You are one of the few people to whom I feel I can speak my mind. Come, let us return to Ul'dah and visit the Colosseum. Yeah, we have 7 quests left after this until we're done with the first half of Post-Stormblood. Then we can pick up Reaper and do the first Reaper quest. And I'll probably do Reaper through the rest of Post-Stormblood pre-Shadowbringers just for the little bit of experience. Since I already have Dark Knight almost to 73. Oh look, it's your boy. People have such fun names. Like some people just have a name that's fitting for the Final Fantasy world, and then some people just have silly names. Like your boy. It's your boy, chillin' in Ul'dah. And even some of the NPCs have really silly names like Firm Albert. My favorite Heaven's Word random NPC. From the moment I became Sultana, I found myself thrust into an endless parade of document signing and ceremonies. For years, I simply signed where I was told to sign and sat where I was told to sit, blissfully oblivious to what any of it meant. Yet one good thing did come from that ignominious chapter in my life, for it was during an official visit to the Colosseum that I first met Raoban. The match I had been invited to attend was not at all what I expected. They had pitted the Bull of Alamigo against some dozen or so rival gladiators. Blinkered though I was, I would not stand for so obvious an injustice and demanded to see a fair fight. One man against another, and my royal wish was duly granted. It was not until later that I learned of the gambling ring which had arranged for Raoban to die on the sands that day. Regardless, my intervention meant that Raoban had but a single opponent to dispatch, which he duly did. And when he knelt before me to receive the winner's purse, he swore that he would one day offer me his blade in service. Surrounded as I was by liars and manipulators, I confess I dismissed it as a pleasant piece of theater. But, as you know, Raoban is a man of his word. Though it took him another 5 years of fighting on the Blood Sands, he amassed a fortune so great as to buy not only his freedom, but a seat on the Syndicate, and then I had my blade.
Grace! I'm back! I beg of you!
It seems you're the one who needs looking after, Master Chef. Rabon!
Your Grace. I have kept the promise made.
So you have, and in turn, so too shall I keep mine. With your winnings, you have become one of the 6 most wealthy souls in all Ul'dah, and so, as tradition dictates, Rauben Aldin, you have earned yourself a seat on the Syndicate. May your new station garner you still greater glories.
I am honored, Your Grace, and vow to serve with every fiber of my being from this day till my last. Long live the Sultana, and long live Ul'dah!
Words cannot well express what that man means to me. There are others who care deeply for my well-being, of course. Papa Shan's love for me is as that of a grandsire or his grandchild. But upon matters of governance, I cannot turn to bodyguards and maidservants for counsel. Raubon, with the authority of his syndicate position, was the first sword I could wield. His was the only edge which could cut the strings that bound me. We must make haste. My absence will not go unnoticed by the Sultan Sworn for long, and there are other places I would visit. The Arzanet Ossuary. Oh, maybe that's just the Thaumaturge's Guild. When the calamity threatened, Ralvan led the Alliance forces into battle on the plains of Cartano, and I remained here. I prayed with all my heart that Archon Louis-Bois would have the power to rouse the 12. That day, I made a custom of visiting the shrine during each of my little excursions. Here, I seek the blessing of Thal, reflect upon my choices, and ask myself if I am fulfilling my duties as Sultana. You are rightly celebrated as champion because you have led the line in 100 battles for the good of Eorzea. In much the same way, I believe the measure of a monarch lies in how she leads her people in times of adversity. If I'm to be a Sultana worthy of the name, I cannot turn a blind eye to the troubles facing Ul'dah. I have chosen my path, Pennifer. With Ala Mhigo now freed from imperial chains, I finally see a way to aid the refugees. Already, many displaced Ala Mhigans seek to begin the long trek home. To facilitate that process, I have made a small contribution, an artisan's school in Rauger's Reach for any who wish to learn new trades. Realistically, however, it will take years for such training to yield tangible benefits. These people will need shelter and employment if they are to survive, and this time, The Ul'Dan treasury shall provide. Precisely where and how to allocate the necessary funds is, of course, another question. A wise suggestion. Mayhap a visit to the Gold Saucer is in order. Its proprietor is a member of the Syndicate, and he is one of the few who pay the refugees a fair wage. I wonder, are you acquainted with Godbert Manderville? Not yet. Ah, well, he is a most generous man, and something of an eccentric. Let us make our way to the landing, and I will see if that word is sent to the Gold Saucer. Godbert should be only too glad to receive us. Let's go gambling! You can do our 3 daily scratch-off tickets. Since I haven't been to the Gold Saucer in ages. How much saucer money do I have? Almost 100k. If I get lucky with at least one 10k pull, then I'll be happy. I've ridden aboard a public airship before, but this shall be my first visit to the Gold Saucer. I must confess to some excitement. Gold Saucer is great. Okay, I'm not gonna reach Air Force One in time. That's a shame. I would have done it. I like Air Force One. Fun pew pew shooty. I will expend 10 megapay Gold Saucer points. If you would kindly load and let me expend my money to gamble. Don't do this to me, game. I get the prompt. I chose to spend money. Give me my ticket. There we go. Okay, up. Dang, we're not gonna get the 10k, but 4 9s 360. Oh, okay, that was lucky. I'll take it. I'll take 1080. Do you indeed wish to play again? Hundo 8, not bad. Once more. Crud. Well, we made some. I had heard descriptions of its splendor, yet I never dreamed it would be so bright and inviting. No, I couldn't possibly. We did not come here to fritter away the royal coin. Godbert will be expecting us. Come, let us head directly to the lounge and ignore these gaudy temptations. Okay, I mean, yeah, you can ignore it. I immediately ran off to go do my daily scratcher tickets. Yeah, I'm sure you're good at ignoring the temptations, but not me. Also, game, why are you lagging on me? What in the seven hells in this casino was causing lag? I was having no lag when I got here. Why is everything lagging now? It's Final Fantasy XIV, for crap's sake. This game shouldn't lag. Doesn't use that many resources. God, I so can't wait to get more RAM, and then eventually a better graphics card and a better CPU, and then I won't have to deal with this crap. Because it didn't do this like the first 22 streams I did, and then it started doing this. Now it's so stupid. I believe this is where we are to meet Lord Manderville. Shall we sit while we await his coming? Maybe the cutscene won't be laggy? I don't know. I can't tell. The game's being stupid. My apologies, Your Grace. I have kept you waiting. No apologies are necessary, Godbert. Our request was sudden, and you were kind to make yourself available at such short notice. Okay, the lag's gone. When the Sultana herself comes calling, there is no more important engagement. As to the purpose of my visit, I would have your thoughts on how the Crown might best aid the refugees residing in Thanalan. You are aware, I am sure, that many of Alamigo's displaced sons and daughters long to return to their newly liberated homeland. And you are also aware of how they will suffer without shelter and work to sustain them. I would use our nation's wealth to spare them that suffering. What advice have you for me on the matter how it might best be distributed? The unusual circumstances of our meeting and your gracious choice of companion would suggest to me a desire for an honest and unvarnished opinion. I shall give you one. My advice to you is, stop. Taxing Ul'dah's wealth to save Alamigan refugees is a terrible, terrible idea. You oppose my proposition? Most emphatically. I agree with your grace that the refugees must have housing and employment, but what profit is there for Ul'dah in this arrangement? Profit? After all you have done for Girabani's displaced, I thought you the very last person to seek to benefit from their misfortune. Forgive me, your grace, but you appear to be laboring under a misapprehension. It is a fine endeavor to support one's fellow man. I fear, however, that your stance is one born of pity. Your intention is to save the refugees, is it not? For all our potential, we are indolent creatures by nature. If unconditional charity is all we know, then we begin to rely upon it, to expect it. And then we must consider Ul'dah's own poor and downtrodden. Should they hear of you spending the nation's coin, not to improve their lot, but to nurture the distant citizens of Alamigo, it is unlikely they will applaud your generosity. Surely it is not your grace's intention to foster new resentments, but to spread goodwill? Indeed. Then any support I pledge to the refugees must promote self-sufficiency while also serving the interests of the people of Ul'dah. Exactly so. Such an arrangement will create a far more equitable relationship with returning Alamigans, even as it generates the revenue required to win the approval of your subjects. You have given me much to ponder, Lord Manderville. I thank you for your candor. Ba 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 ba. Profit. Thought never even crossed my mind. Standing about lamenting my naivety will not do anyone any good. I shall consider my lesson learned and press on. Pennifer, are you perchance acquainted with any successful merchants? If my attempt at philanthropy is obliged to reap a profit, it would seem wise to consult someone with a knack for business. Ordinarily, I would not trust in any agent of the East Aldenor Trading Company, but if you hold this Hancock fellow in high esteem, I am content to be led by you. May I repay my faith by journeying to distant Kugane and speaking with him on my behalf. Eager though I am to visit those shores, I have not the leisure for a lengthy sea voyage. Now, assuming you will travel as adventurers are wont to do, I shall await your report by the 8th ride in Ul'dah. A fair journey to you, Pennifer, and a swift one, if you please. Up to Kugane we go. Whoosh. Pennifer, to what do I owe the pleasure, or are you here on business? Little of both. I beg your pardon. Her Grace the Sultana would have my opinion on how best to invest the wealth of Ul'dah? My dear Pennifer, I have you to thank for this recognition, I am sure. And I am flattered that you came to me. Truly flattered. Why settle for a lowly apprentice when you could have the master? Upon matters of profit, there is no living soul better qualified to advise Her Grace than Chairman Lolorito, a man whose morning exertions are said to fill his garter robe with gold. Are you seriously sending me back to the waking sands? I should be happy to arrange a meeting for you, say, at the Science former headquarters in Sanolan. Waking Sands would seem a suitably neutral venue for negotiations, don't you think? Fare you well, Pennifer, and may your dealings prove fruitful. I don't want to go back to the Waking Sands. I thought I was done with it already. That's cringe. It's extremely cringe. I'm in Stormblood. Why do I have to go all the way back to the Waking Sands? It is considerably cringe. Like, this is post-quest of the second expansion. Why am I getting sent back to A Realm Reborn? Welcome back, Pennifer. Did your merchant friend have any useful advice to share? With Lolorito? And you agree to this? I'm well aware of his standing in the field of business, but I had hoped to keep the monitors at arm's length, and him in particular. Nay, I cannot live in fear of the man. I must learn how to treat with him if I am to rule Ul'dah effectively. Very well, I will meet with Lolorito. Let us go on ahead to the Waking Sands and prepare for his coming. Why must I go back to the Waking Sands? Oh good, it at least brings me there. So I don't have to make the trek myself. So this is where the Sirens first congregated. I have heard many tales, but never had occasion to visit. To work then. The hour of the meeting draws near, and I would gather my thoughts. Pray see to it that we have the appointed room to ourselves.
A personal summons from the Scions. This must be important business indeed. Though, if it concerns anything so underhand as
No, not this time. We're not bothering with an assassination this time.
You have made your point. 'Tis indeed unsettling to find oneself seated across from an impassive mask. There, would this better please your grace? Or should I address you as Lady Lilira?
Why does he have to be a handsome little potato? He's evil.
Nay, the deception has served its purpose. I'm glad to see you found amusement in my little jest, Lord Lolorito, but shall we proceed to the business at hand?
By all means. I must say I am most eager to hear your proposal.
Why must all the evil people look pretty and handsome and stuff?
I would aid the refugees camped in Thanalan in their efforts to return to Alamigo. The reparations you paid in the wake of your earlier misdemeanors will be used to fund the endeavor, together with the fortune seized from the late Teleji Adeleji's estate. But this plan is not intended to benefit the displaced alone. I would make of this an investment which shall enrich Uldar and Alamigo both. And who better to consult on matters of profit than the wealthiest man in all of Thanalan? I beseech you then, Lord Lolorito, share with us your mercantile wisdom.
Twould seem your grace has matured beyond acts of earnest yet misplaced charity. Pray tell me more. To summarize, in return for facilitating the repatriation of refugees and assisting in the establishment of new industry in Alamigo, you ask that a proportion of all subsequent profits be promised to Uldar. I am impressed, Your Grace. It is an elegant solution, albeit one lacking certain crucial details, specifically which industry and where.
How swiftly you identify the weakness in my plan, just as I knew you would. Your travels have taken you across the length and breadth of Gir Abania, and you know the land far better than I. Which of the settlements you visited would best provide a home for our refugees? Which has the greatest potential to flourish, given the appropriate investment?
Desolate little village on the shore of Loch Seld. I know the Saltry and its products well. The Imperial invasion brought an end to their more widespread distribution, much to the dismay of many a wealthy gourmand, myself included. Salt has ever been a transformative ingredient, and in this instance, I dare say, it could transform a modicum of effort into a mountain of gill.
The local citizens will need to be consulted, of course, but I trust the East Aldenar Trading Company can be relied upon to provide its assistance in negotiating a mutually beneficial arrangement.
Naturally, Your Grace. I shall dispatch representatives well versed in the extraction of this white gold and wring every last ons of profit from its production. The Loch's bounty will contribute to Alamigo's enrichment, whilst easing the burden on the bull's aching shoulders, just as Your Grace desired.
A deal is struck then.
I fear it'll be many years before I feel comfortable taking part in such negotiations. But I shall not complain. We have piqued Lolorito's interest and secured his invaluable expertise. Thank you, Pennifer. I could not have done it without you. Money sacks. Of course, it's decided. I shall return to the palace and have my ministers begin work on implementing the particulars of the plan. If I could prevail upon you one more time, Pennifer, I would ask that you convey the details of our negotiations to Commander Hext on your return to Alamigo. My thanks again. Together we have laid the groundwork for an endeavor which promises to benefit the peoples of Alamigo and Ul'dah both. Please let this be the last time I have to come to the bloody Waking Sands. I have little interest in returning there if I don't actually have a good reason to. And that was technically a good reason. Pennifer, you're back. Go to Nanamo. Oh, sorry. Are you allowed to talk about your audience with the Sultana? So, Robin says she's going to return to Ul'dah, but she isn't sure she wants to. Tell her something we don't know, but I'm pleased to hear she's committed to helping our refugees come home. And this plan to revitalize the Saltery does make a lot of sense. Quite how you convinced her to seek Lolorito's help is another question. After all that has happened, he is the very last person I would expect her to turn to for advice. But on a more practical note, at least assuming the interim government elects to accept Ul'dah's proposal, I have one caveat I should like you to include in the bargain. Alamigo must be permitted to cover a portion of the investment. We have a fortune at our disposal, after all, and allowing Ul'dah to provide the entirety of the capital will afford Lolorito too much control. Honestly, Alphino, it's like Kugani never happened. What exactly does a ruthless profiteer have to do to earn your trust? But yes, you do make a good point. First things first, though, we need to discuss this proposal with the Saltery's residents. Iskar, how do you fancy explaining the Sultana's plan to your grandfather? I'd like to hear what Watt thinks of the idea before agreeing to anything. Right away, Commander. Would you mind coming along, Pennifer? I might need you to fill in the details. And I shall come as well. Should Watt wish to discuss figures, my knowledge of the nation's finances may prove useful. What manner of mischief brings you youngins to old what this time, eh? They want to rebuild the saltery, Granddad. Pennifer, tell him about the deal. Oh, bugger me. You've never had the coin of the hands to put this place back to how it was, but it sounds like that's about to change. There's just one small wrinkle in your plan. It doesn't account for all of the nasties queuing up to eat anyone who goes near the shore. Keys and soldiers are cold buggers, but the Imperials weren't about to help the likes of us. Don't worry, Granddad, we'll take care of all of that. Commander Hecht has been talking about starting a regular patrol, and I'm sure she'd assign me to the lock if I asked. I'd appreciate that, Whiskar, my lad. Truly I would. So, does this mean you've gotten better with that blade of yours? I've been training, aye, but mostly to kill Imperials. You've some experience hunting monsters, don't you, Pennifer? Think you could cast an eye over a few of the local beasties and teach me how to deal with them? Gladly, I like fighting. Let's not waste any time then. I'll see you by the lock. I love me a good fight. Whilst you're busy attending to the local fauna, I shall have Master Watt explain to me exactly what is required to restore the saltery to its former glory. Good hunting. Right then, Pennifer. I've got a spyglass here you can use to take a closer look at these pests. Once you've got their measure, you can tell me what to do and we'll see how well I get on. I shall indeed look for a yabby. Here's a yabby. I thought the weak point was under it. It's belly or something. Oh, there's the jaw. That's a... Is that its weak point? I thought the weak point was the tummy. Looks like you found a Yavi. They say hitting their shells like smacking a rock. Any suggestions? Vulnerable under the head, are they? Right then, wish me luck. Yeah, you got this. Kick its butt. Break its jaw. Then bam ba ba ba. Thanks, Pennifer. I did just as you told me and the wavekin went down like a sack of potatoes. Let's find something else. How bad? So bad. Bam, 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 bam. think I can handle the yabbies now, so we should try something different. What else is out there? This ugly thing. Poke it in the eye. Ugh, so bad. How do I defeat one of those? Inside its head, is it? I'll try to stab it right between the eyes then. Well, I was looking forward to fighting, but I guess I don't need to fight. It's fine with me. It's not easy fighting with the Liberator of Alamigo watching your every move, but I got the job done. Thanks for the advice, Pennifer. I feel a lot better prepared for my patrols now. Any road? We should head back to the Saltery before Granddad starts to worry I've been snipped into pieces and fed to Yabi's hatchlings. That's a big chunky boy. I don't need to fight it. I'm not gonna fight it. It'll probably squish me. I see you've returned in one piece. Dealt with those beasties then, did you? I fought them myself after a bit of instruction from Pennifer here, like... Once I've shared what I've learned with the others, we should have no trouble keeping the shoreline clear. Good lad. A fine young man you have become, Whiskar. A fine young man indeed. Too often of late, I hear tales of folk over in the city, drunk on victory and hungry for revenge, their heads stuck firmly in the past. But we need to set our sights on the future. On things which will improve our lot. Things like getting the Saltery ready to welcome our long-lost countrymen. It seems Whiskar has the Saltery security well in hand. I, meanwhile, have discussed the next steps with Master Watt and completed my inspection of the site. With a little work, the vacant buildings here could be made into very presentable dwellings. Message from General Aldine. Apologies for the interruption, miss, but the General will speak with you at your earliest convenience. Do not feel obliged to wait around on my account. I will remain here to hammer out the final details with Watt and act as an intermediary with our business partners from Ul'dah. You should go. General Aldine asks that you wait for him by the main gate in the Alamigan Quarter. My apologies again, miss. Fare you well. Better than... Bye-bye. Oh boy, the title of this quest. I'm fighting Lakshmi again, aren't I? It can only be Lakshmi if it's got bliss in the name. Lovely. Lovely.
Apologies for the wait. People are screaming for the butcher's blood again. No sooner have we broken up one mob than another forms. Thankfully, all have been amenable to reason, thus far. But it is no concern of yours. We must speak of the men Arenvald and his comrades apprehended in the peaks.
By their uniforms, the captives were first judged to be Imperial troops. But after further investigation, their true identities came to light. I dare say you remember Yuyuhasi and Laurentius, the fugitives who conspired with Captain
Those pricks, those absolute freaking bitches. I'm gonna swear, because those guys are pricks.
Aye, well, it would seem they followed him all the way to the wall. It was they who orchestrated the slaughter of the resistance fighters prior to the...
Those guys are pricks.
Were it in your hands, how would you punish these men?
I want to pick the first, but the second's the right answer.
You would spare these animals? Yours is a more merciful brand of justice than mine. In any event, I thank you for your honesty. When the time comes for the Alliance to pass judgment, I'll see that your opinion is heard. Well, that concludes our business here. But there is more I would say. Walk with me. I bear a share of the blame for Ilbert's atrocities. Had I openly supported the cause of Alamigan liberation, he might not have felt driven to do what he did. Things could have been different, and I'm sorry they aren't. But even after all that has happened, my homeland is free. With the Scions and the Alliance at their side, my countrymen have reclaimed what many thought lost forever. Under her new leadership, I have every confidence that Alamigo will emerge from the shadow of the Empire and rise once more to greatness. Which means my work here is done. Soon I will return to Uldar and take my place at the Sultana's side.
Father...
I'll not deny there's a part of me that wants to stay. The same part that contemplated renouncing my rank and joining you as a wandering sellsword. But I pledged my blade to Nanamo, and I will not betray that oath.
Is this truly what you want, Father?
It is. Ever has my sword been hers to command, and ever shall it remain. Thank you for lending an ear. When all the rest are clamoring for me to stay, I trust you'll send me on my way.
That took longer than I intended, but at least you know where I stand. Now that's settled, Arnvald, what news? You may have a problem, sir. A group of Ananta has arrived at the main gates, and I don't mean the Vira. These are Kalyana, the ones that summoned the primal. They're insisting. God, why am I starting the hiss? I'm not speaking to an Ananta right now. They're insisting they be allowed to attend the council, at least trying to reason with them, but she may need help. An invitation was extended to all of the native beast tribes, but we assumed the Kalyana would refuse it out of hand. We had best go and see for ourselves. Pippin, take command of our forces and be ready for battle. Jennifer, you've dealt with these Kalyana before. I'd have you at my side. Gladly. Oh my god, yeah, the music in this zone is so good. We are down to 3 more quests after this one we're on. Making lots and lots of good progress. I could knock out all of Post-Stormblood today, but I won't, because I know that'll end up with me being here for 7, 8, 9 hours again. And I've promised I'd stop doing that so much with Final Fantasy. No matter how much fun I'm having. I know I should not spend 9 hours every Sunday playing Final Fantasy. So we will finish this half, and next week the next half, and then we are left with pre-Shadowbringers. Jennifer, Rawan, God, it's good to see you. Ah, the Slayer has come. We have not forgotten how you sinned against the Lady of Bliss, but we did not come here to shed blood. You claim to seek harmony with all who call Girabani a home. If this is truly your wish, you will welcome us as envoys of the Ananta. It is our wish, and you are welcome, but we cannot condone the summoning of primals. If you want to enter the palace, I must ask that you first surrender any crystal jewelry. You have my word that it will all be returned to you when the meeting is over. We'll do as you ask, but you will not have our weapons. We are not so foolish to place ourselves entirely at the mercy of our tormentors. I reckon that's the closest we're going to get to a compromise, and we will have people standing guard. Aye, let them keep their swords. And we have an agreement. Lead the way to your meeting chamber. Why do I have the feeling we've welcomed a viper into our midst? Oh god, why am I sitting on a level 50 weapon coffer? That's kind of useless. Return of the Bowl. Ooh, we get the Raubon minion. Let's go. This Kalyana Elder's intentions seem at odds with all we know of her tribe. But think you, Jennifer? You believe an understanding can be reached? "'Tis not entirely unheard of, I suppose. Those who followed Saint Shiva eventually sought reconciliation with Ishgard. Whatever the truth, I would take no chances. The guard must be strengthened, ideally with people who know a thing or two about primals. Can we rely on the science? Of course. I'll round up our comrades and send them to the Alamegan quarter. You can go on ahead if you like, Pennifer. My thanks. I will see you in the palace." Pennifer, I've brought reinforcements. Arnwald told me of the arrival of our unexpected guests, and I agreed that it would be prudent to call upon Y'shtola and Thancred as well. One can never be too careful when dealing with the enthrall. I am not familiar with the Kalyana tribe myself, but Alice's report suggested that they shunned contact with the other races, despised it even compared to other Ananta. Indeed, this apparent reversal in attitude is most curious. No one expected a response to our invitation, much less an envoy, and I imagine Lise was forced to make some rather hasty arrangements in order to accommodate them. Speaking of which, how should we deploy ourselves? If the meeting is to be held in the throne room, it would seem wise to have eyes both inside and outside the palace. Y'shtola and I can stand guard without. That leaves the three of you to keep watch over proceedings in the throne room itself. Understood. We should join General Alden inside then. Pennifer, do you know of the rear entrance to the palace? It's on the eastern edge of the city, at the top of the stairs. The guard there should have been instructed to let us pass. I am going to assume this will be a solo instance trigger. And if so, we can do that after the ad break. Or at the very least, start the cutscene that I know will be there, and then delve in for... that's the wrong way. This should get me there. To the left, to the left. Everything you own in a box to the left. You're with the Scions, miss? General Alden left orders that you were to be escorted inside if you will follow me. Okay, no solo instance yet, but soon. I can at least start the cutscene and then pause when ad break starts.
Thank you all for coming. I am Lise Hext, and I speak for the Resistance. Among you are village elders, refugee leaders, envoys from the Ananta and the Kikern. You've come from every corner of Girabania to help decide the future of Alamigo. But before that, I want to ask you a question. What was the first thing you noticed when you came in? For me, it was that empty throne. has no one to sit on it now. No viceroy, no king. Would any of you like to take their place? Or should someone else sit there? Then let's sit here in a circle, as equals, and I hope, as friends.
Okay, we will pause here for a little and let the ad break run its course. Gives me a chance to stretch again. Just about on the 3-hour mark of the stream. And we are back. That should hopefully be the last ad break of stream. I don't think we're going to carry on to 4 hours fully. Finishing this quest and then the next few quests shouldn't take an hour.
Expertly done. Lys has removed monarchy as a choice early in the game and positioned them to consider a joint government. All things considered, I would say events have got off to a fine start.
no, you're jinxing things, Alphino. You're jinxing things by saying that.
And that is Alagana's stance on the matter.
Thank you, Reganfrid. Another vote in favor. Next, let's hear from Shanti of the Kalyana. Tell us, how do your people feel about the idea of a republic?
Yananta, wish only that those who dwell within Gir Abania devote themselves to our faith. You shall all worship Sri Lakshmi!
Oh boy.
Lady of bliss, grace us once more with your beauteous visage!
Oh boy, you stupid snake prick. I'm gonna cut down your goddess and then I'm gonna cut you down again. I'm gonna cut your goddess down again and then I'm gonna cut you down.
We can worry about the how of it later. We need to evacuate these people right now, or the Primal will make thralls of them all.
It's up to us.
Nuh-uh, you're not gonna Miku beam. Not gonna let you use your Miku beam on everyone. This ain't Fortnite. You don't get to use the Miku beam.
God damn it! The guards were already turned! Fools!
No, you don't!
The Kalyana would see us all enthralled.
Then they're going to be sorely disappointed. We have the Warrior of Light and Arenvold to shield us.
Aye, but they can't well defend your guests and attack the Primal, can they? We're stuck on the back foot.
Alright, I think I have an idea. Keep these people safe, General. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Whatever she's about, she'd best make it quick. Come then. Who will be next to die on my steel?
How do we fight her without leaving our allies wide open? We can't stay in the back foot forever. No, dang it. If I think like that, we've already lost. I have the Warrior of Light at my side. We can do this. Isn't that right, Pennifer? Use the duty action deflect to dissipate the Aether Spheres Lakshmi releases during the battle. I will not let anyone be enthralled. Oh crap, 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 crappity crap. Nuh-uh.
I offer you peace and serenity.
Okay, I'm just gonna zoom out. That'll make it easier to see the spears. Ah, 2 for 1 special. Let's go, baby. Ah, God, I forgot how much this sucks. I forgot how... Holy Jesus Christ on a cracker. Did we win? I think we won? Okay, we just had to hold out for a while, because she just makes it impossible. Yeah, I forgot that this one sucks so hard.
Damn it all! It's only a matter of time before we miss one.
What of it? Do you want to kill this thing or not?
Yeah, I'll take the backup from Fordola. My bad bitch of a girl. Let's go. Let's kick this... Let's kick her butt. Where'd she go? Oh, you coward. Go, Alphino, go! We'll kick her butt. I was having a fun fight and you're pulling this crap again. Lakshmi, you're a big dumb nerd. Let's go! It nuked, you nerd! Big dumb primal nerd. Get dunked on.
We did it! We beat her!
What is this? I'm only gonna say this once. The Ananta just summoned their primal in the throne room. My friends are fighting her, but they need help. They need someone with the Echo, and by the gods, I wish I had it, but I don't. I told you before that you still had time, but things have changed. I need your answer now. You can end it like Xenos, or you can fight for Alamigo. Your choice.
Seven hells. It's her, the butcher.
It's done. Take me back to my cell.
You are not forgiven. Not you. You I will never forgive. But I will thank you. For standing against a primal and saving us from servitude. You have my thanks.
Well fought, Pennifer Arnvald. That was a near thing. Aye. Our stand against the Kalyana would have been brief indeed had you not volunteered for guard duty. We'd be enthralled as surely as our sentries were. They must have planned this far in advance. Security was my responsibility, and I know how dangerous primals can be. I should have... it's my fault. My stupid mistake. Nay, lass. We were all caught unawares. We will take this as a lesson and watch our own more carefully in the future. You can be sure that the lackeys who smuggled the crystals into the throne room weren't the only thralls in our ranks. The soldier who first spoke up in favor of the Kalyana keeping their weapons springs to mind. A primal servant is betrayed by his aura. If you mean to conduct an investigation, I can identify any others acting under Sri Lakshmi's influence. Thanks, Yashola. We'd appreciate the help. Speaking of help, I almost fell over when Fordola turned up. What was she even doing there? I asked her to come. Well, that explains it then. It's sad, but Ragenfrieder's right. Her victims will never forgive her for what she's done. But I don't think Fordola picked up that sword looking for forgiveness. She wanted to fight for her country. If you say the world in which Fordola grew up is partly to blame for what she became, then as an Alamegan, I feel responsible for improving that world. We can't ignore what's happening now. We have to show people a better way than vengeance, or we risk giving birth to a new generation of skulls. I know it's idealistic, but I want to help people to let go of their old grievances and make peace with each other. And I'll hold 1,000 meetings and talk till I'm blue in the face if that's what it takes. It's a long and arduous path you have chosen, but one well worth walking. Rest assured that I will do what I can to help you reach your destination. Thank you, Alphino. The first step will be to get our representatives back in the throne room. They were a little shaken, but not one of them seemed ready to run. We're all determined to finish what we started. I will see that you're not interrupted. Hennifer, you and the Scions are to stand down. Get some rest, you've earned it.
A fine spot to contemplate the heavens. The meeting is over. The envoys have chosen to instate a government model on Ishgard's House of Commons, a ruling body of representatives elected by the people. It is a fair decision, and one which signals the end of my part in all this. But I would gaze upon Girabania's stars one last time before I leave. Forget something? Your Grace, there was no word.
Raubon Aldin, you are hereby dismissed as General of the Immortal Flames and relieved of your seat on the Syndicate.
But, Your Grace...
Raubon, I am no longer a child. Stay here in your homeland. Work with your brethren. Rebuild Alamigo.
You desire to stand alone. I understand, but remember what happened.
I remember full well the consequences of my naivety, and thus did I consult at length with a most trusted advisor ere I embarked upon this course.
A most trusted advisor? And what of me? Am I no longer deserving of your confidence?
What trust can there be between us when you withhold the truth from me? Did you think me oblivious to the anguish in your eyes when you spoke of returning to Uldar? For years and years, we have trusted one another. Yet now you refuse to confess your heart's desire?
I swore an oath to you that day on the sands. I pledged my sword.
And it has served me well. But in Pippin you have forged a new sword, as sharp and deadly as the blade you bequeathed him. I will show you a sultana who can wield every weapon at her disposal, including Lolorito and his monetarist cronies. So follow your heart, please. You are home. You are free.
Nanamo.
Smile for me, Raubarn. I would have this parting be a joyous one.
Thank you, Your Grace. It has been an honor to serve you and Ulda.
Tomorrow you will serve Alamigo and fight for the good of all Eorzea. Am I understood?
Yes, Your Grace.
Thanks for shielding us from Lakshmi, you two. If you hadn't been there, the rest of us would be worshipping her by now.
You're kind to include me, Lise, but we both know who did most of the work. I could scarce keep track of the battle, let alone land a telling blow. No shame in admitting it. The Warrior of Light has put far better men than me in the shade.
Did I mention that I encountered the Sultana in the palace? It would seem Her Grace has come to Girabania to oversee the final stages of her relocation project. She was in search of General Oldin, and I directed her to the rooftop garden. I do hope he was still there.
Are you in the habit of gossiping about the affairs of royalty, Master Leveilleur?
Certainly not, Your Grace. I was merely informing my companions.
Be at ease, Alphino. 'Twas only a jest. But I must yield the floor to Raubarn. He has an important announcement to make.
As of yesternight, I have been relieved of my post in the Immortal Flames and the Syndicate both.
I shall be assuming my father's duties. And may I say that Tizona has never felt heavier upon my back.
Twould seem I am in need of employment. Mayhap one of my old acquaintances can introduce me to a mercenary of some such.
You may be getting on in years, Father, but you'd struggle to find a band of sellswords who wouldn't snap your hand off. Your remaining hand.
Yes, the bull of Alamigo need not be put out to pasture just yet.
Your Grace has developed a wicked edge to her humour, and you, Pippin, would do well not to laugh when the future may hold the same for you.
So, does this mean you're staying?
Aye, that seems to be the way of it. I would be glad to aid you in rebuilding our nation, if you'll have me.
If, he says. Welcome home, Rauban.
Well, that was unexpected, though you seem distinctly unsurprised. Either you're more astute than I give you credit for, or I'm losing my touch. In any event, one thing is certain. Alamigo will rejoice at the homecoming of her dearest son.
I think it's about time I headed back to Rauger's Reach. What's next for all of you? LSA will be eager to hear of recent events, so I shall join you if you no objections. I'd welcome the company. Pennifer, why don't you come along to the Reach as well once you said your farewells to Nanamo and the others? Ooh, sweet. I must assume Father's responsibilities without delay, lest our rivals, both inside and outside Ul'dah, treat his dismissal as a window of opportunity. Rest assured, they will find Tizona's edge just as sharp in my hands. It seems my road has come full circle. I appreciate the support you showed to my early decision, overruled though it was. I have asked enough of you, Pennifer. My only words for you now are those of gratitude. Okay, let's see. So we'd have 2 more quests here to mark halfway. But if we end here, that leaves 8 and 7. That's... Honestly, we could do 15 quests next stream. That'll be, I think, another dungeon, a trial... And that'll bring us to the end of Post-Stormblood. So yeah, next stream we will do patch 4.2 and 4.3, leaving us 4.4, 4.5, and 4.55 as our final of the Stormblood adjacent quests leave. Yeah, so we'd be on 4.2 now. So there's... Okay, so it's 4.5 and 4.56. 4.4 is 7 quests. 4.5 is 5. 4.56 is 2. So that's 7... That's 15 quests. 14 actually. 752, that's 14. So we'll have 15 quests next stream, 14 the stream after, and then we will be in Shadowbringers. Alphino has regaled me with a thrilling tale of hidden treasure troves, mid-meeting betrayals, unlikely alliances, and joyous homecomings. It would seem I missed everything. I was patrolling the palace grounds at Thancred and Yashola when we heard the report of a primal in the throne room. I honestly doubted my own ears. As others have said, we were lucky to have our Echo-blessed champions nearby this time, but we'll need to keep a closer eye on the Kalyana. You can say that again. This whole episode has reminded me just how far apart our kinds still are. It looks like centuries of fear and mistrust really can't be washed away in a day. But someone has to make an effort at reconciliation if these conflicts are ever going to end. Naturally, a lot of people are crying out for vengeance, but I've been doing my best to calm things down. Violent reprisals will only lead to more summonings. Indeed. Violence will ever beget violence, as the Empire has learned to its cost in recent times. In any case, summoning Lakshmi with Broodmother's doing, and whoever replaces her might not be so keen on the idea. We'll just have to watch and wait. Which isn't to say we won't be putting the safety of our allies in the Vera and M-tribes first. I plan to have Resistance scouts keep track of the Kalyana's movements at all times. My parents will be relieved to hear that. What are your plans for the rest of the Resistance army out of interest? Are we to prepare for Imperial counterattacks? That would be a question for the Resistance's newest recruit, a military commander with far more experience than me. What? The Bull of Alamigo? We call it an army, but the Resistance is really a collection of smaller, independent groups. And when Conrad passed his command on to me, that authority only extended to the freedom fighters based in Rauger's Reach. He just happened to be serving as a Resistance spokesman at the time, and needed someone to take over the role while everything was in disarray, but that time has passed. When I speak with the other leaders about reforming the army under the new government, I will be nominating Raubon as the overall commander of our forces. He has more experience than the rest of us put together, and we stand to learn a lot from him. Indeed, he is, in all respects, the ideal choice. Assuming he accepts the post, Alamigo will have added a formidable weapon to its arsenal. And given the progress of Nanamo's settlement initiative, I see great cause for hope. The siege, which we so carefully sowed, have begun to quicken, my friends. I like that. We tend to our promises and watch as Alamigo blooms. And there, that is our portion of Post-Stormblood for today. It was fun. Lots of fun. We got to fight Lakshmi again, just not full Lakshmi. And we didn't fail. I remember the first time I did it, I failed trying to fight her and attack the bubbles. I do give thanks to the Kami that my makeshift raft withstood the fury of the seas. But there their generosity ended. Without coins in our pockets for new attire, we are doomed to look like so much jetsam. Oh, woe betide the poor man in a city of rich merchants. Pardon? These dango are delicious. Will you have one? More sweet beds? I surrendered my blade to secure what few coins we have. Right, I forgot. Things get weird. Things get really weird. It's like talking to a child. Why fate saddled me with this burden I shall never know, but I am alive and I must return to my master's side. Come, Tsuyu. We shall find a ship to carry us across the Ruby Sea. Boy, she's scarfing down on that dongo. which honestly makes me want some Dongo on my own. It's been a bit. Dongo is great. I love me some Dongo. My favorite local Japanese market sells fresh, and it's so good. Have you read the report? First Doma, then Alamigo, and Lord Xenos put to the sword? Do not believe everything you read. I hear the Viceroy is merely wounded and that he has already returned to the capital. Naturally, the savages beat their chests and boast loudly of taking his head, regardless. Nay, Lord Xenos lives? What do you mean he lives? Deplorable. That our own officers should be fooled by Eorzean misinformation. Small wonder the provinces have begun rising up in rebellion. We must prepare an official and above all accurate announcement to quell these pernicious rumors. They would wage war with empty words. Let them produce the Viceroy's remains then. We shall soon put the lie to their claims. Who dat? Okay, and with that, let us... Boop. There we go. Now I can exit the game and we shall find somebody to raid out to, as always. But this was a very, very fun stream. We completed the first part of Post-Stormblood, which was fun. I forgot how fun it is. Made so much good progress, and next Sunday we will finish the second half of Post-Stormblood, leaving us the pre-Shadowbringers quests, and then we will finally be at the really good content, really good story, really good fights, really good everything. Shadowbringers is absolutely freaking amazing, and I can't wait. Once we hit Shadowbringers, the day we start Shadowbringers, we're gonna have a nice little Final Fantasy XIV karaoke bit, and then we will dive right into the good. Now, let us dive into Twitch. See who happens to be live. And it looks like most people are, in fact, playing Wild still. Let's see. Bug's playing Phasmophobia, Yomi's playing Wild. Ooh, Ultra Kill, that's a fun game. Lata's playing Wild, Sayu's playing Star Rail. Like a Dragon, VRChat, Monster Hunter Wilds. I do think most people are just gonna be playing Wild. Oh, actually, surprisingly not. I see ASMR, Stardew Valley, Marvel Rivals, Lethal Company, wow. Elatro. It seems the immediate swarm of people playing Wilds has died off a little. So let's see. There's honestly a lot of really cool people to raid into, having a lot of fun. Yeah, this is kind of the hard part, trying to decide who to raid into. Because all of these people I follow are really good. Really cool people. Let's see. Let's see. I should just pick somebody, otherwise I'm just gonna be sitting here forever, unable to decide. I know some of these people probably limit their raids to verified and or partners. Namely the bigger ones. So let's see. We can raid into... Oh, let's see if we can raid into Shenpai. I like Shen. Shen's pretty cool. So let us get her channel up. And then see if Twitch will let us do the rating thing. Raid Shenpai. I can, perfect. Okay, chatters, we're going to raid into Shenpai, who is playing Monster Hunter Wilds. So I, as always, hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and remember, Big Sis loves you, always.